Hey, what's the deal? It's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I'm saying? As a date recorded right now, it is 2:23 p.m. January, June 7th, 2025. Now, I mean, it's raining out there, but it should be a little bit more better, you know what I mean, as the day progressed. You know what I mean? Because I want to go outside, man. I already went outside earlier, but it wasn't like raining, you know, and of course, you know, the rain puts you in a fucked up mood. It does. It puts you in a foul mood and such. And I hate the rain. I hate singing in the rain, motherfucker. So there was a report today from my father, aka Dave Meltzer, about WWE or TKO wanting to put branding in wrestlers' gears, right? And that's technically not surprising. It's not surprising at all. I mean, you see it in UFC. And so, you know, you're starting to see the TKO effect come with WWE, right? And so the thing is, you know, he said that they want to put like logos and such onto people's gears and shit like that, right? And again, I don't have a problem with that because as long as the wrestlers are also getting paid for it. Because if the wrestlers are not getting a cut of it, then what the fuck is the point of putting putting the branding, right? I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it. I think, you know, it separates WWE from AEW and from any other company. You know what I mean? Because again, all the stuff that they do in UFC, they're going to do with WWE. Plain and simple. You know, you knew this was coming. They did, if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the year with WrestleMania, I think they did put patches, or there was talks of putting patches in wrestlers' gears for tops and everything else, right? But I think there's a little bit more different. I think this is different in the line of you know, advertisements and such. And again, there's no problem with that. I don't have an issue with that. I don't. You know what I mean? I really don't. You know, it makes the company money. You know, it should also make some of the wrestlers money as well. You know what I mean? And so this is what WWE is now. You know what I'm saying? Thanks to TKO Endeavor and such, you know, you would assume that the wrestlers are going to get a cut of the advertisement pay. You would assume. Can make sense. You know, one person said, well, they should put things on the belts. Come on, man. Imagine fucking holding a McDonald's belt. Come on, man. McDonald's! Food folks are fun. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. I don't think that's just going to happen. But, you know, again, it separates WWE from a lot of pro wrestling companies. And, you know, but the problem that I have, and this is an issue. This is clearly a big issue. Video game licensing. How would this affect, you know, video game licensing? Unless WWE, unless 2K is going to put their logos onto wrestlers and such, or even in the ring and shit like that, right? That's something you got to think about, you know, because sponsors and everything else. But also, there still have not been, a solution to what's going to happen with WWE in their video games. You know what I mean? Because as you guys all know, you know, they want to do cost cutting, cutting costs. They want to cut costs, right? And so, you know, they, you know, both UFC and WWE have two different. They got two different video game companies that they work with, right? UFC is working with EA Sports and WWE is working with 2K, right? So basically, they're going to have to come to a cost-cutting measure, right? Where one company just makes games for everybody. And so, you know, this with the sponsorships and such, it could be an issue in the endorsements. It could be an issue strictly because of the copyrights and everything else, right? And that could be an issue. But in terms of sponsorships and stuff, I mean, listen, I have no problem with it. I think a lot of people just bitching and moaning online, and they just want to get their rocks off, and say, "Oh man, you know, we don't like when WWE put logos in the ring, but you like it when AEW does it, right?" The difference is, people like DraftKings and such, they're not paying the wrestlers, for sponsors. They're not. You know what I mean? And like I said, I would assume that, of course, these, they're going to, at least give wrestlers a cut with that. But I do wish that they go back to their original plan of putting patches on, on wrestlers' gears and such. Like when someone makes their debut or WrestleMania, I think that's really fucking great. Not because it sets WWE apart from a lot of fucking people. It does. It really, really does. And the same thing that you see with UFC is the exact same shit that you're going to see with WWE. It's bleeding over and onto WWE. Now, I mean, which keeps things very unique. It does. It really, really does. As of this recording right now, it is 2:29 p.m., right? And so, I know when Worlds Collide is going to be coming on in a half an hour. Half an hour, and a half an hour. You know what I mean? So we should see what happens. We should definitely see what happens. I might pull myself back away from social media for a while. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it just becomes a little bit too much with bullshit. It really, really does. It really does. What I might do this week, I might just start putting news in, and then that's basically it. Yeah, I'm gonna give myself maybe about a couple weeks away from seeing what's said on social media, because it's a lot of garbage on social media. It's been a lot of garbage, for a while, like with the whole Triple H thing and such, and it's just been a lot of garbage. And let me say this for the record. Someone said that they believe that The Rock is going to own WWE within the next 5 years. If he buys WWE, that means he will have to buy UFC too. Yeah, I mean, that means TKO Endeavor will have to buy, he had to buy the whole company out. And that's not happening anytime soon. That's not. You know what I mean? So let's slow your roll and shut the fuck up. All right, just shut the fuck up. But I mean, it's a lot of toxic shit that's going on in pro wrestling, and it's like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But again, I do not have a problem with WWE putting ads into wrestling wrestlers gears. I mean, listen, you fucking see it in basketball. You know what I mean? You definitely see it in basketball. You see it in a lot of sports. UFC. You know what I mean? Shit, like fucking football. And so you start to see it. I also wonder if Venom is going to, have some crossover with WWE. Venom is the ones who makes the UFC gear. I mean, I'm curious to see if that's going to be the case. You know what I mean? I'm real curious. I'm about to be out, guys. You know what I mean? I might, maybe I might come with another video tonight, because I'm not mistaken, Money in the Bank is also tonight. You know what I mean? So I'm going to definitely holler at y'all, tonight if. All right, so I'm going to check y'all. Peace.